Heartbreaking, disappointing, an absolute failure, and for once, I'm not even talking about my love life. I'm discussing the Eagles' train wreck of a loss to the Giants, and today we're going through your best reactions. This is another episode of Internet Reacts. My name is Liam Jenkins. Let's get down to business. Channel or you haven't seen this series before, bonjour, comment, appel 2. Here's how we do it around here. I get you guys to submit your best reactions in two ways. One of them is on Twitter and the other one is in our Eagles group chat, which is on the Flick Sports app. If you want to join that, there is a link down in the description below. It's free to do and you also get chances to win money, jerseys, enter fantasy competitions and so much more. But this game in particular was a little bit different. The Eagles were not only coming off a bye, they had a lot of help on the way.
Dead and king stand alone. Not alone. Go hit him!
And with that help came a certain level of expectation that now the offensive line's a bit more patched up, that now you've got Jalen Reagor, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders back, all of the band back together, that surely this will be the game where Carson Wentz kicks on, where the defense holds its own against the 2-7 Giants and all goes well. That didn't happen for a variety of reasons, so to kick things off with this video, what I've done is take some of my favourite reactions and put them into a brand new segment I'm going to call the Hall of Pain. It's the ones where it's a generic reaction to the game where everyone is angry and upset and fuming, just compiled into one 30-second train wreck montage. To the actual analysis, and arguably the most insightful of the day, came from Quarterback Factory, who says, "We effing suck." He's not wrong. And that thought was actually echoed in our Flick Sports group chat with this video that was sent.
We're fucking shit! We're fucking shit! We're fucking shit! We're fucking shit! We're fucking shit!
ARG is upset with the play calling on offense and defense, and who can blame him? I mean, it took about 3 plays for Wayne Gallman to rip the Eagles to shreds. This isn't Saquon Barkley, this is Wayne Gallman. Like, yes, he was riding a touchdown streak, but it's Wayne Gallman, and this was a pretty good run defense. This was a defensive line who had the 3rd highest pressure rate in the NFL against the worst offensive line in that metric. This should have been a field day for guys like Brandon Graham, and instead it was just an average day for everyone. I mean, it was that average that Malik Jackson made a play, as in one play, and it was somehow the highlight of the day. Started off well with Derek Barnett getting a sack, and then it all went wrong very quickly. The linebackers played absolutely dreadful, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. Taylor says Doug and Howie gotta step the bleep up or get out. Wentz has been bad, but those two have done nothing to help. And you know what? He's not wrong. He's really not wrong. Carson Wentz, admittedly, was terrible today. Like, there is no escaping that whether he had better players around him and the better supporting cast and the line and the play calls, whatever, it was still bad. Like, the balls were still missing left, right, high, low. Couldn't complete screens, couldn't complete dumps, could barely... He had one good pass to Greg Ward that I remember off the top of my head, but this was the first game where I felt he's not the biggest offensive problem right now. Like, if anything, Carson Wentz improved. I know that's hard to believe, but he didn't turn the ball over. Yes, he fumbled twice, but he recovered them both. And when he got sacked, he clung onto the ball. He didn't just aimlessly try and chuck it away. You know the score around here, the fuck it and chuck it. He didn't do that like we're used to seeing. That disappeared. We saw a much more conservative Carson Wentz, someone that didn't always want to go for the deep shot, that would much rather check it down underneath. And did that hurt him a bit? Yeah, but I'm glad there is a change in his play. Outside of that, when you've got a 2nd and 10 and you put Jalen Hurts in the game to read option, I don't get it. I don't get half of the play calls. The big 4th down, 4th and long, end of the game. You've got Jalen Reagor, James Bradbury, who's playing at a Pro Bowl level. Makes no sense whatsoever. It was vanilla. There were no new wrinkles. There was nothing exciting about the offense. It just felt stale, and it felt predictable, and the 4th downs were predictable, and we'll get to going for 2 later. Don't get me started. But Nathan Berber echoed exactly that same sentiment. I think fans are just utterly bewildered at this point. Rob Swanson says, Eagles Twitter thinking this team was going to fix the same issues we've been having all year. And that is probably the biggest thing. Like, this team, as pointed out here by Quinton, were coming off a bye. They had 2 weeks to prepare for a Giants team who were 2-7, and they made the Giants look like the Arizona Cardinals, and the Eagles look like the New York Jets. It was disgraceful in every sense of the word. Like, I just have no words for the total lack of discipline across the board. They didn't complete a single 3rd down. 9 attempts, and Doug Peterson after the game came out and said, oh, we were in too many 3rd and long situations. Well, if you didn't balls up 1st and 2nd down, you wouldn't be in 3rd and long, would ya? And then we have to get onto the defensive side of the ball, where Daniel Jones was made to look like Kyler Murray. While we're on the topic of the Arizona Cardinals, and Next Gen Incredible sums that up pretty nicely. I just don't understand it. Like, it's that every time the Eagles play a quarterback, you could face Phillip Rivers, he would go off for 100 rushing yards. The worst part is, this Eagles team still has to face Kyler Murray, has to face Russell Wilson. You can put Baker Mayfield in that conversation. Like, this is not a good run of games. This was the easiest team the Eagles are going to play for about a month, and they pissed it into the wind. And now you've got teams who have all season long beaten the Eagles with a quarterback on the ground. They're now going to come up against 2 of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL. Fun! While that was going on, Daniel Jones, as Chris puts it here, was running around like Lamar Jackson. No words whatsoever. We've seen it all season long. It has to change. And as Zach says here, defense didn't show up. Was really shocking. You can't let a guy jump over anyone for a touchdown, nor can you let a quarterback run for 30 plus yards for a touchdown. Let's not forget the last time the Eagles played the Giants, Daniel Jones was at it again. If he didn't stumble over and make an idiot of himself, he would have scored another touchdown. Like, this isn't a new thing. This isn't going away. This is something that we're seeing over and over again. My favourite bit of the game, in the most toxic way possible, was when the Eagles drove down the field, got themselves back in, big touchdown. It's a 1-score game. They shave the points off, and the Giants go chunk play one side, chunk play the other side, 2 rushes, touchdown, and it just deflates the balloon, and you're left going, what's the point? Like, there was no life in that defense whatsoever. And it's like, I don't even think you can expect Darius Slay to do much more. He surrendered that one big pass to Darius Slayton. Not on him. The guy's been lights out all season long. He's been everything the Eagles needed and more. They just don't have a cornerback too. And that's what happens, Howie Roseman, when you've got a 5'10" cornerback playing outside. You just get a pass over his head. We all saw Avonte Maddox jump and narrowly fingertip the ball away. Any other cornerback over 6 foot would have tipped that ball down, but Maddox is a slot corner playing outside because they cut everyone else, and I'm not angry. It's fine. But somehow the Eagles are top of the NFC East. I really don't understand how. That meme there by Bird Boy pretty much sums it up. I think the most infuriating point of all though was that the team didn't run the ball consistently. Miles Sanders averaged 5.7 yards per carry. I think Miles Sanders has a back injury. At least he should do, because he carried the offense for 4 quarters. And then they promptly stopped running. I mean, even Boston Scott scored another touchdown. 6 of his 7 career touchdowns come against the New York Giants. He had 155 rushing yards against them in 2 games last year. He's had 109 against them in 2 games this year. He owns Big Blue. Unfortunately, Big Blue owned the Eagles this time, and that's no fault of Boston Scott. It's no fault of Miles Sanders. The Eagles were in a 1-score game for a huge chunk of that matchup and still barely ran the ball and still tried to force it with Carson Wentz. And it was the first time where Travis Fulgham didn't look like an elite wide receiver, and it might be because he's not one, because he is a receiver that was playing probably above his pay grade, playing very well, but you can't expect expect that every single week. You have to go to other options. You've got to spread the ball around. You can't go into a game expecting Travis Fulgham to put up historic numbers and lead the NFL in receiving. It's not going to happen. The fire's going to burn out eventually. And when you've got a dynamic running back returning from injury, and even beyond him, Boston Scott, who owns the New York Giants, and you don't work them and you don't get them involved, I don't know. Did they miss blitz pickups? Yes. Am I bothered? Yes. Are their offensive contributions greater? Absolutely. Mr. Lee says, who had more money on this game? Doug Carson, the D coordinator, that said, all week we can't let a QB running on us. Top 8 draft pick, here we come. Do you know what? I'm going to say Doug, because I'm pretty sure he's the man behind Wall Street Bets. You don't want to let him near a blackjack table. You do not want Doug Peterson in a casino. He would gamble all of his life savings. All of the money made from the book Fearless would go on number 17, and it would fall incomplete, if you pardon the pun. But to end on a positive note, guys, here are the top 10 from our Flick Sports app fantasy game this week. JMC with the win, a narrow win by under half a point. Absolute hero. Massive dub by you, my friend. $15 on its way. Just hit me up. I'll get it sent out to you. Guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of Internet React. We will have This Week in Philadelphia Sports come through tomorrow. Massive love to every single one of you for somehow keeping me sane this year, this off-season. It has been a chaotic 2020. There'll be a big video kind of giving you the big thank you a bit later on, but just wanted you guys to know, even when the Eagles are an absolute train wreck, I just wanted you guys to know that even when the Eagles let us down week after week, that being able to create content for you guys is the best feeling on the planet. Thank you for giving me this platform, for being a part of our community. My name is Liam Jenkins. I'll see you soon.